What is going on? What's going on, y'all? It is your boy Skywalker the Jedi back at y'all with another one. Thank you so much for being here. I am so grateful for each and every single one of you guys tuning in today. We have a very, very special stream in store for you guys, and I cannot wait to bring this illustrious panel up here so we can have this conversation with all of you. So make sure that you guys got your questions ready and are locked in, and we just gonna get to it because this is a very, very special show, and I'm gonna bring my other co-host up here first, and then we're gonna bring the man of the hour up and give him the proper introduction that he deserves. First and foremost, we got the homie here. Y'all have been seeing this man on many a panel with me, many a stream, many a space, fighting for this whole Zack Snyder sale movement thing that we have created, and he's been such a treasure to everything that we've done. So shout out to the homie Leon of the New Geeks. How are you doing, sir? What's going on with you today, bro?
I'm doing very well. It's good to see everybody in the chat filing in, showing love. Much appreciated as usual. Good weather out here where I'm at. I'm feeling good today. How you feeling, buddy?
Absolutely. See, they saying that my mic crackling, bro. I'm gonna hop on that, y'all, and then just let me get this panel up here real quick, and then we'll get started, and I'll do all that. So much love, y'all. Much love, Leon. Thank you for being here, man. Feeling real good. Sorry that we had to cancel cartoons and cereal this morning, and I think that's Josh that's on my thing trying to comment. You know what I'm saying? If somebody's commenting at Skywalker,
Oh no, that was me. My fault. That's my bad.
yo, that's
That's
funny.
hilarious. That was
But
me.
yo, no, yeah, but I'm feeling much better, and we here and we ready to go. This other gentleman, Josh Herrera, has been putting in mad work ever since we have met at Full Circle, and has been a true treasure to work with, and brings nothing but great energy to this entire thing. Much love. What's going on, Josh? How are you feeling, bro?
Rebels! I'm feeling rebellious. What's going on, fellas?
Hey,
Josh.
hey, hey, we here chilling. We feeling good today, bro. Thank you for being here. And it's a pleasure to have you, bro. Much love, much love. And I'm gonna bring our special guest up of the hour, Leon. I'm gonna try to hop out and fix some stuff, and I want you to share the crazy story of how we met. But yo, I'm so grateful for this man to come on my platform and have this conversation, and we think it's going to be an amazing one. We have the commander of the King's Gates himself, Brett Culbert, in the building. What's going on, Brett? How are you feeling today, sir?
Well, more importantly, how are you feeling? You weren't feeling well earlier.
Hey, we here. I'm charged up. I'm ready to go. I'm feeling much better, and I'm ready to have this conversation with y'all.
Well, almost wasn't gonna make it. Look at you now. So thank you, man.
Hey,
Thank you so
for
much.
sure.
Pleasure.
Leon, go ahead and share that story of how we met with Brett. And I'm gonna try to fix some.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah. So good to see you again, Brett.
Good to see you.
It's crazy because life life is so strange. It's so funny, right? It's such a
Dude.
it could be such a fun
The
ride,
way
right?
we met. Yeah.
Yeah. We were just like so Sky and myself, after flying from the East Coast to the West Coast to experience Rebel Moon Part One, Sky had already done the red carpet premiere, and so he saw it a second time with me seeing it the first time. We're coming out, we're all pumped, we're hyped, and we're just going absolutely, ape shit over this movie. And we're coming up the stairs, and we see a gentleman and his wife, and we see like your reaction as you're walking. You're just kind of looking around, and you're just like, "Yo, this is." It felt different. I was like, "This man doesn't feel like just a guy who is like, oh, what is this?" You're just like,
I was on a
you're
date
taking
with
it
my
all in,
wife.
right? So I'm like, I'm ready to brag about Rebel Moon. We're walking by, and we meet, and you're like, "Hey, did you guys see the movie?" We're like, "Absolutely," and we're just gushing about how great it was, and you're like, "Well, yeah, I'm in it." We're like, "What?" Like, what a coincidence.
And you guys were so sweet. Like, you guys brought my nerves down. So I really appreciated that. I still can't hear your mic yet.
I was about to say, yeah, you having mic issues, brother.
Gotta love technology, right?
You might want to use whatever device you're using to talk. Just use the device itself, maybe.
You can write it all.
Sign language.
We just gonna rock out like back in the day. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna rock out like back in the day.
I can hear you pretty well now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not bad.
We just gonna rock out like back in the day. That's what's gonna happen because that's what has to happen
I
now,
like
right?
back in the day. Let's do it.
They have made the choice for us all. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't try each and every way to fix this, and it's just not working. So, hey, the show must go on, right? But no, meeting Brett was super dope, and it was crazy just having that moment because we literally weren't even gonna have that moment unless we were moving the car. Like we were literally just going back to the same theater that we just came out of, right? And having that moment with you and your wife, and it just really kind of set the tone for that whole weekend for us. Even though I had already seen it twice at that point, right? So I was really loving it.
I hadn't even seen it.
Leon, yep, it was right after his first viewing. So it was just pretty dope that I got to see it even before the great Brett Culbert. You know what I'm saying? It was
All right. we could have messed around and spoiled the movie for Brett, and he's starring and he's in
You
it.
almost
You know what I
did.
mean?
You almost did. I
I'm
remember
like,
that.
dude,
I was like, no.
this guy. Oh wait, never mind.
No, that was a good time. You guys definitely set us up, and it was really special. I think you made the night even more special for my wife and I. It added a nice little magic touch to it. Like people were coming out that were appreciating a movie, and it's just, oh, I guess we're gonna go see that movie now. So thank you for that, guys. Really appreciate that.
And it was probably good that, the way the moon was in the right position or something, because, you had just came off of an historic, something in Hollywood with the actor strike, right? So it was kind of like providence that, you were able to actually attend, because you probably wouldn't have attended that premiere if y'all would have still been striking, correct?
Yeah, no, that's 100% correct. And so it felt special that Hollywood was alive during that night for us. And it brought back kind of that nostalgic feel of going to see a movie. And not only was it the movie that I was in, but it was just my wife and I getting to go to a movie,
Right.
Like a regular night at the movies. And I feel like even during the pandemic, we took that for granted.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just felt great being able to go to dinner, go to a movie, a new movie that we hadn't seen before, and enjoy it. So.
And something that was made for theatrical, right? Because we most
on that screen. I saw it at the Egyptian Theater. Yeah, it was beautiful, stunning.
IMAX. Can I talk a little bit about that, Leon and Sky? How it was crazy.
Man.
Absolutely.
You want to go first, Leon?
I was gonna say, you want to go first?
Hey, look, because I was at the premiere. You know what I'm saying? Like, being at the premiere was such a dope experience, and we were there at the Chinese theater, and it's 70 millimeter IMAX, and it's Zack Snyder, and you're just seeing like the who's who of everybody, and it was just such a dope moment being able to just be in the room with there's so much of the cast and crew, which that was my first time being at a film premiere of that magnitude, right? So just having that experience, and not only just having a Netflix film shown on IMAX and 70 millimeters, that in of itself is dope. But just the story that it took us on, and the sound design from this film, it really lended itself perfectly to that theater setting. And the visuals were fantastic. It was everything that I thought it was going to be, and a little bit more, because I didn't expect the sound design to really hit the way that it did. It was crazy.
Especially
it was crazy. Like every time that they were shooting anything, like you could feel it like in your chest. You know what I'm saying? Like it was great. And yes, I hope to be able to see part 2 in theaters. We'll see.
Yeah, Leon was saying that you guys are going to potentially see a screening on the 11th. Is that something that I didn't know about?
We trying, you know what I'm saying? We got those advanced screening links. One was One Iota, I believe, and
okay.
Yeah, go there, request some tickets, and they also have one in New York on the 5th. So there's going to be 2 showings that I know of right now for Rebel Moon Part 2. That will have Zack Snyder and a Q&A after both screenings as well.
Awesome. I hope you guys get to go. Let me know. Especially when you're here. Let me know. I want to see you guys again.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, man. That's awesome. Yeah, for sure.
What about you, Leon? How did seeing this film in theaters really hit with you?
That's the one thing that I think that the viewing audience, and look, I'm obviously not knocking, the Netflix model or streaming, right? But we're all guys. I can speak for all of us, right, and say we're all guys who love the theater, right? Like that's what we love. We love the movie going experience. So I feel as though the audience is a little robbed of that experience, because my God, being in the Egyptian and seeing Rebel Moon, the scene where the planets are behind her as she's tending to the fields, that's like that might be my favorite scene. It's just like art. It's paint. it's painting. It's a painting, and I'm just witnessing Zach take his canvas and work his magic. It was that sky. I was just like, I like leaned forward. I'm just like, my God, like I love that part. And it was at the very beginning, and it just always sticks with me. And I was just like, this is the theatrical experience. So just being a part of that was just, it was just beautiful. The rest of the film is just the icing and the cherry on top. The whole experience of the theater itself, I just love it. I've always loved being in the theaters ever since I was a little boy. The first movie that I can ever remember seeing was Batman, '89's Batman, right?
You can't go too far on this. These are part of the questions I was going to ask you.
I'm ahead of schedule.
You're going ahead of my schedule. Hold on.
But yeah, it's just I loved it, yo. And being in the Egyptian was so cool. I felt like I was a part of something, just seeing it all. I took so many freaking pictures. I was acting like a real fan when I was out there. Couldn't really play it cool. It was awesome.
And Leon's a cool dude, so
I appreciate that.
I really liked how you said that you felt like you were a part of something there, right? Because you walked out of the theater because you were moved by something, whatever it was to you, but you knew that other people coming out of a theater were also moved in their own right, their own way, and being a part of that, right? That was a part of something, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There's something special to that.
Absolutely. It's I think, we take for granted, I don't necessarily mean we as in us per se, but just as in general that we take for granted like the process of it all and the artistry of it all, and the fact that there are people that pour their literal souls into this thing. And so when I look at something like Rebel Moon, I'm like, my God, I see it. I see it. And every time we went back to see it, I never felt bored. I never felt like I'm just doing this to do it. I was always like, if they could do this 5 times, right? I'm gonna go 5 in a row, like 10 in a row. I'm just gonna keep going until they tell me to stop, because I know that once it's over, like we got to go and watch it on TV or your phone. I want to be here in this big theater in front of this incredible screen.
You're not taking your moments for granted. I love that.
At all. Yeah.
Yeah. At all. Yeah.
And it's funny because speaking about it, movies always leave theaters and then you usually can't go rewatch them unless it's like a special circumstance, right? But with this one, it did feel more finite, right? It was almost like, I'm gonna enjoy this as many times as I possibly can on that big screen, because we had to, and it really was a moment to kind of indulge in. And I'm just glad that I was able to take those moments in and really be able to enjoy this film the way that it was meant to be seen, because that was the true vision, what I saw on screen.
Right. I love that. Same.
Right. And Leon, one more thing that was also funny was I saw it before Leon did, so I was kind of watching him.
Okay, yeah.
Right, because I'm sitting there waiting to see his reaction, right, for certain key parts, and that was also something that I was able to kind of cherish too, seeing another Zach fan kind of geek out over this stuff like in real time, right? Because when I was at the premiere, I was with my very good friend Thino, and he is a much more general audience member. So I was also able to watch a general audience member enjoy what I enjoy, and he was soaking it in too, and he loved it. And it's just all around, it was great that whole weekend being able to celebrate this film's art, and just it was something that I will forever remember.
It's humbling knowing that art can still move people and create those experiences for you, because I think sometimes we actors definitely have that worry. So thank you for sharing that, for sure.
You're absolutely welcome, for sure. I always wonder if actors, um, I know, obviously, I know, like, generally speaking, actors care, producers care. Well, yeah, directors care, writers care. But, like, you always wonder, like, do they get jaded after a while? Is it just kind of like, I'm just clocking in? Like, what keeps an actor passionate for what they do? You know what I mean?
I think it's up to the actor.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we have a tendency to believe that we're all very similar, but I think in all reality, I've met many of actors who are very hungry and they have a beautiful resume. And then I've met actors who don't have a very good resume and they're not hungry at all. It's just I think it's all depends on the person and how in love with the process and the work, or are you in love with the result? And that's what you all for me, that's what I always think about is I have to stay passionate about the work and not passionate about the result, because once you get passionate about the result and fall in love with that, then you're not going to do the work, and then the whole thing's just going to be fall apart. So you have to remain completely dedicated, and it's very easy to get astray from that line, especially in the world. So yeah, I think it's up to the person and the time of life in that person as well.
Right. Or and the result destroying your passion for the love of the work.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's why I love seeing children work, or act, because they give you 1,000 energy every single time, every single take. It's as if that moment is brand new to them, and I love seeing that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Josh, what about you as far as your experience with Rebel Moon? Because I know you saw it live in the theater.
Yeah, I was lucky enough. So basically, Brett, I don't know if you knew the rollout was only like Netflix theaters, right? Announced at first. It was only LA, New York,
Yeah.
Toronto,
First. Yeah.
London, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then us fans who are Snyder diehards, right? We're like, holy, like we can't see this in theaters. So we started like complaining. We like to do that with hashtags. Some like to call us toxic. I'd like to say we're passionate. But anyways, they added more dates in additional cities. And lo and behold, my city just happened to be one of them. So I went to the Alamo Draft House here in my city, and I got to see it. I think it was after the premiere that Leon and Sky went to and met you at. I think it was during the week, like a few days before the actual drop. So it was, I think, the 19th, and Rebel Moon dropped the 21st. They did like a huge rollout, right, for the Netflix drop. So me and some buddies actually got to see it in theaters as well. Wasn't 70 millimeter IMAX, which I'm jealous that you guys got to see, because Brett, that poster was only for 70 millimeter IMAX
it was
screening.
quite the experience. It really was.
And it's gorgeous, right? Like that Banu scene, seeing it in theater was amazing. I'm greedy though. I wanted to see it in 70 millimeter IMAX, but like y'all were talking about, that sound design, Sky, the scene. I actually got to see it a second time because Zack Snyder randomly on March 5th was in my city.
Right.
I guess it was during the Joe Rogan interview that was being filmed, because Joe Rogan is in my city. So I guess I don't know if it happened before or after, but he was here for Dawn of the Dead 20th anniversary screening, and also a theatrical screening of Rebel Moon again. So I saw it a second time. And the one thing that sticks out is, as far as sound design, is when Noble is when he's in the barn and he hits Sindri with his staff. Yeah, look at that beauty. That's heavy metal, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's gorgeous. I'm jealous y'all got that. But yeah, we got to, so I got to see it a second
I got
time.
like 3 of those things, Josh. I took one from every screening. I was like, yo, every time that I see this, I'm taking one. Back.
Same here.
You got to.
Same
I mean,
here.
those are going to be collector's items, and hey, Zach stuff is the best of the best. So, but yeah, poor Sindri. Every time I saw that scene, the sound design goes a long way to inform the actual characters' like arcs, in my opinion. Like just hearing the velocity of those strikes that Atticus Noble gives on Sindri is just like, he's a ruthless MFer, and it kind of informs how you're going to view the Imperium, the mother world, going forward in the film. So I thought it was amazing how the sound team,
Oh, it's beautiful. This is a great representation of what kind of effort we can hear on the thwap. You know what I mean? Like how much we got.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yo, the whole universe just felt so tactile, right? And this was one of the questions that I was going to ask. From the outside looking in, it seemed like this shoot was like really, really like big and epic, right? Can you kind of speak to that? What the experience was like, and because we're all Zach fanatics over here, so what was it like working with the GOAT? The modern day GOAT, right?
Well, yeah, and I think what's neat about this film is that everybody. One second, my dog is making a lot of noise.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Buddy, come here.
Mini commander.
Right.
So what? Sorry.
Hey,
Hi, everybody. Say hi, Reese. This is Reese. He is now 10 months old or 11 months old. I'm gonna be good.
I love him.
What was interesting about that film is not only was it multiple locations for a lot of actors, but also there were grand locations, multiple grand locations, like large scale. Like I only got to be on the ship, so I didn't get to see any other locations at whatsoever. But I did hear a lot of people tell me like they put forth a lot of effort, and it's more of a spectacle seeing it in person than what your imagination, for me personally, than what your imagination can come up with. Like I felt kind of like I was at Disneyland just doing the like it for me personally, it was a lot of fun, and my imagination just started to see it all, and it was just, and I think it definitely helps with character, because once you see the world, you go, oh, I understand where I fit in this world now. So I love that Zach still builds his world, and the spaceship that I was on, all the buttons were tactile. I could touch everything, and it brought it all to life. And so, when we were on cut, it was just like some of the actors and I, we really wanted to touch certain things. And you could see the kids starting to come out like, does this actually? Oh, it does do the thing. Well, what if I? Oh, yours does too. Cool.
All right.
It was a lot of fun.
Right, got buttons lighting up and all that stuff. Yeah, yeah. Yo, it's just from the outside looking in, it just seemed like you guys had so much fun. It also seems like Zach usually kind of creates like a family type working environment. We kind of got that feeling when we met a whole bunch of the cast and crew. Can you kind of speak to that? Is that true? Or
yeah.
What's your
so I think with any project, the first moments, like the first person you speak to in that project, the first anything is a representation for me of what the rest of the project is going to be like, right? And so I will use one example. As I'm walking onto set, the gentleman who puts the mic on me, he was very calm, very soft, and he was, adjusting it, and he just looks up at me and goes, "Where are you from?" I've never been asked that question. Like in my life of doing this, I've never had him just stop time and, "Where are you from?" And it was so endearing to me that he was looking at me in the eyes and really asking this question. So we had this brief moment of real personal conversation, which just dropped all of the fake pressure. And I just went, "Oh, you're a person." And I was like, "I'm from here." And he goes, "Oh, we don't get many of that here." And I go, "Well, now you do." And it was just so lovely that everybody was not only professional, but incredibly warm. And if I needed anything, they would jump and do it. And everybody called you by your first name or your character name. It wasn't "Hey you." It was just and I mean, this is all the way down to like every single human being had this cordial feeling about them, and I wanted to live there because it was warm, it was real, and it did feel like a family. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. I always I saw a few times those cool Rebel Moon jackets that a bunch of the crew was wearing. I was like, man, I want one of those, man. I actually wish I could have got one.
Right? I'm trying to figure out a way to steal one.
If you do, can you get a couple more?
I'm trying to figure out a way to steal
XL, brother, XL.
I'm trying to figure out a way to steal 4 of them, I guess.
He's a bad guy after all, so
there you go.
Right.
It's character acting, right?
Yeah. Did you have a question that you wanted to ask Brett, Leon?
Oh yeah, absolutely. One of my first questions, I have a couple about your career itself, but I wanted to start off with the one question that I have about Rebel Moon, because I'm really interested in your career. But before that, I wanted to ask, what influenced the performance of your character as Gunnery Commander in Rebel Moon Part 1? Was it like the notes, the script, or was it any sort of outside inspiration? What influenced your thought process?
Annoying authority. So I had a moment at LAX, and so I had this hat, right? And I'm going. I know this is way off topic, but I'm getting. So
go for it.
PSA, and I had a hat on, and it's like 6 a.m. So I'm just like, here's my stuff. Take my shoes off. I know what I'm doing. Do this, and this lady's like, sir. Like, what? It's 6. And she's like, your hat. And I go, what do you want? Because you need to take it off. Okay. So and she was just all about her job and my hat. And there's hundreds of people, but this hat seemed to be at 6 a.m. her thing. So I'm like,
at the top of her list.
Top man, as if she woke up like following me, girl. The guy has a hat on. He's going to the airport. And so she put it on the belt thing. And I go through, and I'm just like, put my shoes on. I'm like, oh, my hat. And so I go over, and I'm just looking at it, and I see my wife. She has all of her stuff. She has her bag, and she's like, are you ready? And I'm looking, and I'm like, my hat is gone. And it was. And so I go over to her, and I go, ma'am, I'm so sorry. My hat is gone. She goes, what hat?
What? What?
And so then she had to go to this other person who was at the same room we were in, but just higher up. Anyway, so another person came down, and then there's multiple people talking to me about this hat, and they go, sir, we're going to go check the cameras. And I go, okay, thank you. And so she goes and she checks the cameras, and then she comes back and then tells me again, sir, you actually did have a hat on when you came in.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm not.
At the end of the conversation.
Yeah. So no, yes. And then so I'm just pausing. I'm looking at her, so I'm not crazy. Do you know where the hat is? She goes, no. What do I do now? And what I'm getting at is I took this. Everybody was so focused on whether I was telling the truth or not. And it wasn't about what the issue was. So everybody was so focused on authority and doing the authority thing and not looking for the human thing. Does that make sense? And so I kind of spun authority, and I tried to take all the humanity out of a person and just authoritize it. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
And then we dive deeper into what authority looks like and what it can do a little bit. So that, for me, that's what I did. I just kind of went from authority and kind of dug as far as deep as I could.
I love that your inspiration in terms of like, at least for this story, came from something as mundane or should be mundane as I just want my hat, man. That's awesome.
And it was probably LAX. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was probably LAX.
Right.
I used to feel sorry for my wife because for that whole trip we were on, all I was complaining about was my hat.
I bet that would have ruined my trip too.
It
I
was
was
my
like,
hat. It
man,
was my workout hat. It was my hat.
No, but I get
It
it
is-
because it's like they totally, for something so simple like a hat, they stripped away the humane part of just, oh, hey, let's find this hat. Like, where is it? Like,
Yeah, and they didn't look for the hat. They looked at the cameras, and I just found that to be very it just spoke volumes of what they were doing. They were going,
that's interesting.
hats. This guy's coming in for hats.
Right.
Or he's psychotic. They assume something about me based on, I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, you know what? Hey, everybody in the chat, we're gonna donate for Brett to get another hat. You know what I mean? We're gonna pitch in.
We're gonna start a GoFundMe for Brett's hat.
It's okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I ended up getting a new hat. I actually got the exact same hat.
No, I feel
Brett, I just want to know, was it LAX?
Yes.
You see, I told you.
that's
I
funny.
told you.
It was.
LAX is quite the yeah. No, I'm a hat
I
guy
was on
too,
a
though.
TV show. I really did. I was like, all right, where's Ashton? I know he's out here somewhere. But
Right. He gonna pop up and be like, "We got it, bro." Nope. But
Right.
but yeah, okay. So
oh yeah.
what was I gonna say? All right, so your career, Mr. Brett, Mr. Culbert. How did your journey begin as an actor? Like, what even influenced you and made you say, you know what, I want to be an actor. This is what I want to do.
Yeah, so I've had to answer this a lot, and no. I was just I love to rethink about it because it always brings me a little bit of nostalgia. And I was freshman year in high school, and I took a drama class because I didn't try very hard in school, and drama was like easier than other schools, other classes, and they were doing auditions for Arsenic and Old Lace, the school play, and the drama teacher was directing it, and she came to me and she said, "Brett, can you audition for this? We think you'd be good for the show." And I never in my life thought about going on a stage. I could barely do homework. So I didn't go to the audition. And I just didn't. I think I was scared. And then the following day, she asked me why I didn't go, and I told her. And then she asked if I could go to callbacks. And so then I was like, wow, they must really. They need people or something. So I went to callbacks, and then she cast me as Officer O'Hara in Arsenic and Old Lace, and that was my first play that I had ever done. And he has this really small monologue in the play, and I remember just being on stage, connecting with the other actors, and it was the first time that I felt outside of myself. Like I was still me, but I could be freer as a person. And it felt like unlike anything else I'd ever gone through before. And so I wanted to know more about what that feeling was and how I can get more of that sauce. And so I fell in deep, passionate love. And since then I just had to learn more and more.
I love that.
That's it. That's it.
No, that's cool, man, because it comes from a level of just like genuine. It almost feels practical, like you were just like, man, I'm dodging school, I'm dodging this, I'm dodging that, and you found something that you fell in love with almost by accident.
Well, yeah. So in middle school, I mean, everybody was talking about what college they were going to be doing, what career they were going to be doing, the pressure of finding something that you need to do this. You need to, whether it be business, law, doctor, you got to do this. And for me, everything seemed way out of reach. I did not come from money. And so all that just seemed like really difficult at the time. And it was scary. I was very overwhelmed. So when I think it was just simply that she noticed me. And I think when somebody believes in you, you believe in yourself a little bit more. And then I think you start to learn what that is as you grow. So yeah, so that's how it started.
I want to touch on that real quick, what you just said about some other people believing in you. I think like that's a message I would want anybody watching right now to like take that message and just run with it, because a lot of I don't know. I don't see that happening too often, or at least enough. And I think I don't really have like any sort of deep message with that, but just like if you know somebody needs help or needs someone to believe in them, believe in them,
Well,
because that goes such a long way, you know.
how much does it cost to say some words to a person? Like,
My
really,
goodness, right?
what does it cost, man? I mean, and it costs nothing, and we can do this daily, and so it's just, so I do like telling that story, and that's why, exactly, because you can change other people.
Absolutely. No, that's beautiful. I like that. I think my last question before I just start going organic would be like just me being like a film nerd. Like, what are your like 5 films that inspire you or kind of influence you as an actor? You know, or just, 5 favorites.
Okay, listen. See, here's the problem with today's world. I'm going to name off 5. 10 years from now, I'm going to name off 5. They're not going to match.
No, I love that.
Culbert.
But I love that.
Hey, but where are you at right now with it? 5 right now.
Hey, let me say something real quick before because when I typed that question out, I was like, he might say something exactly like you just said, and I was like, I'm good with that, because people will ask me what my top whatever is, and I'm just like, bro, I don't know. Like, I have whole genres that I love. I have it's a mixed bag. I have favorites that I go to, but overall, like, movies are movies, man. It's art.
Yeah, and I think that kind of like what we were talking before we did this is it is art. So honestly, over my life, I think different films they spark again, right? So if for $2 for the hat fund, sorry,
threw $2 in for the hat fund, everybody.
That got me. Thank you. All right. No, I'm not. What was I saying? What was I saying?
That filmmaking, movies is an art.
Oh, yeah, it is an art. Yeah, so it totally depends on where my emotions are, right? For me, I don't know if you're going through a bad breakup, well, The Notebook might be the best one. And you might literally go, this is just the best movie right now. But for me, overall films, I think, you know what? This is a good time for me to say this story. Because of Leon, we were talking about what movies can do to you in the moments. And I think for some reason, Tom Hanks has really pumped out a few of those movies for me. So when I don't remember exactly how old I was, but I believe I was in that like 11 or 12, whenever Saving Private, maybe 10, whenever Saving Private Ryan came out. I should not have seen that film at that age. However, my stepdad and my mom, they were going, and well, I of course wanted to see the film. So I begged them, and I think my stepdad, thinking that it was historic, he brought me. It was gripping even as a young boy. But what I recall most was leaving the theater, and I could hear everybody have some form of an emotion after what they saw. So every single person was affected by that film, and they carried it with them. So I think after that, I went through that experience. I really wanted to know what other films could do that. So what films leave an impact on you after you leave it? So for me, I think the top of the list, is definitely Forrest Gump. And the reason being is it hits everything for me. So for me, however I'm feeling, I can turn that on, and I can get a little action. I can get a little comedy. I can get a little romance. I can get Bubba, man. I want to know about shrimp. I got it. It's just there's and history as well. You get a glimpse of that. So for me, that film, it also means a lot to my stepdad. So again, how can films have you ever bonded with somebody because you both love that film?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
that's what this whole community is about. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So my stepdad and I, we bonded so heavily on that we don't even need to say words when we watch it. So that's what a film can do, is it can connect people without words. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
Gosh, and we can go way back as well. There's just so many. I can't pick one. I think one film that I keep watching over and over again that no one ever talks about is Gattaca.
Oh,
Jude Law, huh?
With what's going on in life right now, I and not only that, but I keep falling in love with Jude Law's performance. He's an actor that I almost am like reverse watching his career right now. And just going, this man is wonderful. He's one of the greatest actors we have. And so when you watch Gattaca, I feel like he is firing on all cylinders in that film. And so so if I need inspiration, I go to Gattaca. Just the story alone. I guess I enjoy more of the underdog Hoosiers films like that where there's an underdog that needs to. That's where I cling to. But I do not have like I like this film and this film and this film, and these are my top 5. I can't because I tend to be emotional. So if I'm really angry, well, I'm going to turn on something, that I don't know. Just depends.
I feel it. Yo, these are wonderful answers. We got a Curly Ray here saying, hello, everyone. I'm very sorry that I'm late for the stream, but I'm very glad to see Brett Culbert and hope you are feeling better, Skywalker. Yes. Thank you, Curly Ray. We appreciate you being here, bro. Thanks for the well wishes, right? We here rocking out real quick, right? And also make sure that you guys, if you have any questions for Brett, you can put them in the chat. And we will pull them up real quick. Bad Dan says he is going to catch this on replay, but you wanted to stop by and show his support real quick. We appreciate you for being here, Bad Dan. Thank you for coming through, right? And we also got Retro saying Gattaca was amazing, right? Ethan Hawke, Jude Law, Uma Thurman. A lot of love for Gattaca in here. A lot of love for Gattaca.
We know when I was going through my own tough times, I watched a lot of Gattaca, and somebody put on my chat, Rebel Without a Cause, which I'm going to talk on that real fast. Yeah. So James Dean.
Please do.
Yeah. During, again, high school, for some reason, I learned so much in high school as opposed to college. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's that age, right? And so wanting to absorb. In high school, I took film study, which I'm so glad I had that. We watched East of Eden and Rebel Without a Cause and Giant. And each one of those films obviously has James Dean. And James Dean was someone who I felt that I really connected with. So again, it was a teacher believing in me, showing me things, meaning we can help our young ones by showing them films. So yes, Rebel Without a Cause was an amazing film.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Brett, if at any time you want to pull up any questions from Instagram, please feel free to let us know. Right. And
yeah, I'm watching them as I go. Yep. So if anybody on Instagram has any questions, please feel free.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about this Rebel Moon Part 2 trailer, guys. Yo, have you seen this trailer, Brett? How did it hit you, man? Like, yo, were you jacked? Are you pumped? Like, what's going on, man? Because when I saw it, I mean, I did a reaction. It was crazy. It really hit for me. So how did it hit you?
I didn't know that it was going to be so action packed. Like, I'm very excited to see how it moves. Yeah, really. I just want to see how it moves and where they go with it. Because even I have no idea. I have no clue. I just know my spots. So I'm It hit me probably as hard as it hits you as well. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Curly Ray says, "Hey, Brett Culbert, I don't know if you've answered this question before I got here, but what was one thing you loved about being a part of the Rebel Moon franchise?"
I think I think when I spoke about the gentleman who put the mic on me, and then as well as there is an individual who calls you to kind of go over things, and from that moment on, the warmth about everybody in production, you could feel that. So I would say the best part about being a part of the franchise are the people that are involved in the warmth and care factor. It did not feel about let's get this in and get it done. It was let's get this. Let's make sure that you're okay. I'm okay. Let's work on this, right? And then let's fix what we need to fix, and then we part our ways. Like it was very it was very personal. It was very intimate. It was very real, and I hadn't been a part of anything like it before. Yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, if I could ask the commander of the King's Gaze a question, how did you feel about General Atticus? No, we got General Titus's betrayal, right? When he betrayed the Imperium, right? Because I'm guessing that this is a shot of a bit of that backstory. So, were you there?
wonderful. Was I there for what?
Were you there when they were carrying out this on General
No,
Titus?
I
You know
was
what I'm
not
saying?
there. I did not get to meet him. Unfortunately, I would have, because when they introduced him in the film, I love seeing when Jaimin gets to do a little bit of comedy. And I feel like he got to, get to flex a little bit of his comedy there, which I'm glad that Zach gave him that freedom. But yeah, I've been in love with him forever. So just being a part of something that he's in is wonderful. But I'm ecstatic to see what else we get to see. But I'm just glad that we got to see a little bit of his comedy, because I know he can do a lot more.
When he was like, we still get paid, I presume.
Yeah,
I was like, oh shit. I was like, my man
you
is
know
about
what you
that
care
check.
about.
That man is about that check. I love it.
Definitely about that paper, right? Now, how is the Imperium feeling about Jimmy, possibly turning over to the dark side? Like, is that, I mean, is Jimmy a formidable threat? I mean, I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? He looks pretty menacing. He was actually one of my favorite characters from the first film. How did you react to Jimmy in the first movie?
Well, I'm pretty sure the commander is scared because he knows how to use a gun. What's this about?
Right.
But I thought the way that they went with using his voice with such an interesting design. Can we talk on the design for a second? Like, well, what did you guys think about the design of Jimmy? Like the aesthetics, because you're the one who saw it. What did you think about it?
So
look, go ahead, Leon.
Sorry. Oh, all right. Well, I'll touch on it briefly. So I was awestruck. So I'm the type of person that I love aesthetic design in film. Like, I draw, paint, do pastels, et cetera, and oil, whatever. So I love anything that has details. Like even when I buy, let's say, a collector's edition to a film, right?
Mm-hmm.
It has to be embossed and debossed, and all these little carvings have to be in it, like the mother boxes that were sold via Mantalab for Zack Snyder's Justice League, right? I love that you can touch it and feel it, and it feels like somebody put some love in this thing. So when I look at something like Jimmy, I'm like, my goodness, it's like you can feel and touch every crevice of this thing. You know what I mean? And even down to the bell that was utilized. Oh God, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Wow. Hey, can you bring it to the front there? Oh wow. See, yeah, I
This is
love it.
just a Bluetooth speaker, but they went all out with
That's
the design
awesome.
of Jimmy
Yeah,
Bluetooth.
and again,
speaker.
this is original creations.
Right.
Like this came.
Wow. So
These,
you guys remember the bell and the hammer she used to ring the bell? You look at those objects and there was like all these carvings and etchings and all this detail and love poured into those inanimate objects. And then you get Jimmy and he just looks like something from an old world sci-fi tech that is like almost a relic of the past, this incredible mythological relic that's now come back to
Mhm.
do some damage in the name of hopefully peace, right? But yeah, Jimmy looks awesome. He might be my favorite design of any of the characters thus far. The craftsmanship is incredible.
Yeah. Yo, that scene with them down at the riverbed, it was the first chance that you really got to see a real shot of him up close and get to see how the light hit the etchings and carvings on him and stuff. Man, Jimmy was fantastic. And Josh is always making this joke, but it's true. Like when I was listening to this droid speak and he spoke about the great warmth,
Mhm.
hey, like, I don't know what it was about that line, but I was just like, yo, what the hell am I watching right now? Right? Like, why is this droid making me care about it like that? Like, I don't even understand. But it was crazy. I love Jimmy, and I'm very excited for his arc to continue into part 2.
Yeah, same. I'm really curious to see what they do with them. I kind of we kind of saw a little bit on that trailer, but that's all I know as well. So I think
Right.
that's one of the most things I'm excited about as well.
I just want to know, is the Imperium afraid that this droid is about to, you know what I'm saying, turn against them, right? Man.
I can't say anything.
Right. We got Neo 7 saying belated happy birthday to Princess Violet Culbert.
I gotta take a picture of that. Hold on.
Right. Hey, right. For sure.
My wife's gonna love that.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Violet.
birthday.
Violet. Well, she's sleeping, but she's. I'll relay the information.
Right.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I had a question for you, Brett.
Yeah.
So we kind of talked about this on my stream, but can you kind of talk about, Rebel Moon Part 1 when you were preparing for your scene? You kind of talked about how the environment, you were kind of your guard was kind of, you were up because you're about to go on, but then this mic guy kind of made you feel welcomed, and can you kind of talk about how you as an actor kind of channeled that day on set where you were shooting your scenes, where what your process was like, because you had some time from the time you went to set, and what it was like for you, what was going through your mind from the time you were on to the time you saw Zack Snyder actually directing your scene. What was that like for you as an actor, and how that experience was?
Well, first of all, thank you for asking that question. You don't get many people who understand that from trailer to moment, that walk, that's a tough walk. I'm not gonna lie, because especially for a movie like this, that moment right there, your heart, everything starts kind of saying hi to you. But I want to give you exactly detailed what it felt like. So I think over the years with film acting, you want to go as deep as possible, but you have to be there for everybody else as well, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. So you're in character, but you want to make sure that you're capable of hearing and doing and being present. So I think because you really focus on getting into that mode, that anything outside really doesn't affect you that much. So even the gentleman who put the mic on me, the experience was warm in a pocket, right? Mm. But at the same time, when I said goodbye to this gentleman, I had to go directly back to where I was. And I think over the years you get you start to refine that. And because I think when I was younger, that would have like thrown me way off, and I'd be like, dude, why are you talking to me when I'm about to go do a movie? But in this situation, the approach was, I'm going to relish this moment just as much as I'm going to relish on set moment. So if they're all the same thing to me, then it didn't get in my way. It was just wow, this is part of the experience. Let's bring it with me. So now I've just learned to read the room. You know what I mean? Yeah. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Brett, I want to ask you, before you actually got to work on the film, right? Just after you got cast, what was your awareness level of like the Zack Snyder fan base and just like what this was that you were going to be getting into? Were you aware of like the scale of the project, or just what was that whole process like for you personally?
For me, everybody knows Zack Snyder for something else, right? They all have their thing. Like if you go ask somebody, what is Zack? Okay, let me ask you guys. What is Zack Snyder known for?
Snyder Cut.
Snyder Cut. Yeah, that's it, right?
All right. So for me, it was a little bit different, right? So I personally don't have the ability or time to specifically study one director or what. I study multiple, right? So for me, it was more of okay, Zack Snyder, we're talking Zack Snyder. So for me, my memory are the beautiful moments in 300. But for me, right, everybody has their own specific Zack Snyder thing. But for me, I remember exactly where I was. I remember exactly what I felt. I remember that what was I watching? I just didn't know. I was confused. Gerard Butler's kicking people. It was just totally different. When I read that, it was, how 300 are we getting here? Because I wanted that. But I like all of his stuff. It was just for me, that, kind of like Gladiator. I love that area. So I was just like, I was trying to figure out, director, actor, where are we between that and some of his other stuff, and where are we gonna find that happy medium. So being on set and being there, and you kind of have to just, okay, we'll settle right here, and yeah, it's kind of a non-verbal process.
That's super dope. It's kind of hearing how that plays out. Yeah, because 300 is a great film, and that I think is one of the films that he's had that has had more broader success. That just people typically just tend to love that film, and it has become such a part of our like pop culture zeitgeist. It's funny that you mention it because we almost got some vibes of that with General Titus and where he was, right, with the whole Gladiator stuff. So I am hoping that we get more of all that, you know what I'm saying, in part 2, and then the director's cuts coming this summer.
Yeah, I know. Time is taking forever.
Right?
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing all that.
Right. How happy are you about really being able to just see part 2 and more of what you guys created on this big epic film, right? I know that working on it is one thing, but what is that process like in between working on it and before it comes out, right?
Honestly, nerve-wracking. Very nerve-wracking. Because for me personally, I didn't get to see much when I filmed it, just of what I did, obviously. And I did slowly fall in love with the actors I was with, that moment. And so I was really hoping that we could put that on screen and see it. So I didn't want to get my hopes up, because I also know things happen, and I may have been bye-byed, and that would have been fine. It's your vision, not mine. But but it is very nerve wracking, and you're constantly going, it's for the sake of the film. It's better for the film. At the same time, I hope I'm in it. But yeah, so it's nerve wracking. It's exciting. It's the best, worst thing I've gone through. Does that make sense?
That's the worst thing. Hey, that makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense, right?
I think you guys saw that when I ran into you. You were at the moment of. I mean, I was
Right.
right there.
Hey, Brett did have that look like, look, this didn't go either way. You know what I'm saying? like, I don't know. I
really wanted to like tug on one of you and go, did you by chance see a guy that looked like me in that movie? Ish.
He said, right, am I in there anywhere? Right. But Leon, did you have anything else that you just kind of naturally was wanting to ask Brett?
I think what's been bubbling in my head is like the conversation that we were having prior to starting the stream. I really want to like pick your brain about the overly used terminology when it comes to looking at the art of filmmaking now. Like everybody likes to use perfect or masterpiece and things of that nature. Like, what are your thoughts on the artistry of filmmaking and how the audience should or shouldn't view them? Not saying that we're policing whether that you know what I mean.
Oh
you know
yeah, for sure. No, absolutely. I just I feel right now there's just a little bit of confusion as to what really what movies are. I mean, as we saw at the Oscars, we're having this, what are we supposed to do? As opposed to what can we do? And I think those are two different questions, right? What are we supposed to do, and how do we make this good so we sell lots of things? Or man, what kind of movie can we make? What can we do with the human, with what we can create, as opposed to, all right, gentlemen, let's sit down and figure out how we can make as much money as possible. Right? How can you possibly create something out of that if you're put with that type of pressure? Right. So then you're going to go and you're going to look at statistics. Right. And then if you look at statistics, you're going to do exactly what the statistic told you to do. Right. So are we creating, or are we just, right? So I think one of the best things for me that I heard at the Oscars recently was stop. I mean, nothing against Zach's films, but there is something to, let's do maybe not as many $200 films and maybe more, let's try a $5 million film. Let's make multiple $5 million films, right? So we can create more, right?
Right. I get what you're saying. It's like, with the caveat of nothing against Zach's film, it's because Zach makes a lot of big budget stuff.
Zach has the right to do it. It's in his field.
Right. But also I get what you're saying.
Everything doesn't have to be that. Yeah.
Yeah, everything doesn't have, some people can do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because what happens is then we only have 9 movies every single year, and we're all going, that's the best one. No, that's the best one. And we need to have more, because it's not about best. The job here is to simply affect people, right? So if you're a child who's home alone, you can put on something that makes you feel like you're not alone at home. You know what I mean? Or however, that's what it's designed to do. Entertain. That's why, right?
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I was gonna ask a follow-up. Have everyone on this panel seen Following from Christopher Nolan's first film, Following?
I don't think I've seen it. No,
I don't think I've seen that one.
I haven't.
All right, it's great. It's he made that film to show people that you don't need to make, like, you can make art without going over and getting this overly bloated budget. And the way he shot it, like, if you look at that film, I don't want to spoil it at all. Just everybody go look at it. Go watch it, please.
All right.
It is basically like the DNA of how he makes movies now, right? So you don't get Nolan and Oppenheimer unless you get following, right?
Mm.
Hell, you don't get Zack Snyder and Rebel Moon unless you get Zack Snyder directing Michael Jordan in that, what was it called?
So, the documentary, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
way back when. That's like only really available on DVD and VHS. Like you have to start, you have to let an artist be independent. You just have to do that. And I think you get way more Steven Spielberg, Zack Snyder's, Nolan's. I can name them all. You get these guys when you give them more wiggle room and a budget to just create art. And then you go, oh my God, here's the next so and so. And that's not even what I don't really want that as an audience. I don't care. And I think that's pretty much what you're getting at, Brett. But I'm speaking more on both sides. Like, you're going to get the guy that you want that can direct these $200 million films, but you have to go through the guys that make art first. You have to make art.
You have to make art, and art is always going to require massive risks.
100%.
Always.
Absolutely.
If we keep trying to just, then we're literally going to be like, well, this is your movie today. Why? Because it's perfect. Look at this.
It's square.
Can't argue that. Give me a bad review. But really, because we two things breed creation: structure and chaos. Right?
Yeah, fact.
We
Yeah.
need both. We need structure and we need massive amounts of chaos. And I'm not talking about politically. I'm talking about in art to be chaotic, because in the chaos you can discover. And so we need all of that. We need all of our creatives. We need all of our writers to come together. And that's what we need to do. And it's not AI. AI is not the fix.
Oh, hell no. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, if judging by some of these scripts that have been getting greenlit that have been using AI, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure that's been part of the problem recently, with these algorithms. And it's like, you cannot allow a machine to determine what is going to be moving for an individual, right? Like, you don't get, like, when I saw Joker and I walked out of the theater, I legitimately said to myself, yo, like, you have to be nicer to people. Like, you have to be nicer to people.
Mhm.
May I ask,
right?
This is good for this. May I ask why you felt that way?
Because I was like, yo, like, I'm sitting there and I'm watching that film, and I just wanted somebody to help Arthur the entire time. I'm like, does nobody kind of like see what's going on, right? And then when you see the transformation, right, afterwards, and it's just like, man, I always felt like if a few more people was just nicer to that guy, you wouldn't have had this whole thing happen. And so, yeah, you don't get that unless that is coming from a human spirit and a human heart, right? Yeah. So this whole AI stuff, I think that it's not the wave that we need to be going down. And you're absolutely right. The more cookie cutter that we get, the more that these results are going to be the same.
Yeah, over and over and over again until we just beat it dead. Tell me what else is going to happen unless we start creating more projects immediately.
I have a question for everybody on the panel. So I was having a discussion with someone the other night, and they were just asking, because they know I'm a big movie geek, and they also know I love some DC, blah, 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 right? So they were like, what's up with your fascination with DC? And I'm just like, well, I just like movies in general, but I like good movies. But anyway, they were just talking about Marvel movies like it's just the end all be all, cat's meow, to steal an old phrase, right? And I'm just like, in my opinion, what I came away from that conversation saying this. In my opinion, I think that Marvel films are, this is gonna sound like I'm hating, but to me they're like the precursor to what we have going on with AI, because they let the cat out of the bag when they told everybody the way they produce films, the way they kind of have them already in production before they even get a director and sometimes a writer. And to me that's
Yeah.
it's the most egregious thing I ever heard. I was just like, oh my God. So you get this powerful machine making films, and you could take Marvel out, for those that cape for that, that's fine. take Marvel out. If you take a machine and you're making factory level movies, essentially homogenized films, like it's almost cheating, right? You're cheating the audience from enjoying something that is like flawed and beautiful at the same time. Like one of my favorite movies is Hackers. Like that movie is like some people's guilty pleasures. I effing love that movie.
Yep.
I love that. Like, I'm gonna just say this, and I'm gonna let you guys take the mic. There was a part in Hackers where, man, I forget his actual name, but the character that played as Zero Cool is running up the alley chasing behind the guy who took the disc from him because he snatched the disc from him when he was on a limo. That scene is so cinematic. He's running through this fog, this steam that's coming from the sewer, and it's in New York. It's all dark, the lighting, the way the chorus or the music swelled. It was so beautiful. Like, and it's Hackers, man. Like it's I don't know that that's the movie people would say is art, but I look at it, I'm just like, God dang, that scene is incredible. I hand to God love that scene. You don't get that with homogenized filmmaking. You don't get that with AI. You know what I mean? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Personally, 100%. And the reason is because finding that exact location, waiting for that moment to happen, capturing that shot, doing it just like that takes time and effort. So
Absolutely.
if you can work around that and you can still make that profit, right? Why are you going to take the time and effort to create that art? Why are you going to do that?
True.
Unless you care about art, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
The passion and the
You
love
gotta
for
care.
art. You do it because you love it. You love the
Right.
art of it all.
You love it. You're like, no, we're going to take the time and get it right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
Brett, was there any questions that you had for us? Because I know that you had a list that you were trying to get to earlier.
no, just
It's a two-way street here. Oh, here we go. As you met.
Command.
All right. So I do. Again, from our interaction, Leon Skywalker, from our interaction from when I went and saw Rebel Moon, I was so moved by that because you weren't not only seeing the movie that I was in, but you guys were also just seeing a movie and coming out of that movie as if you guys just saw the Titanic for the first time, but two men. I don't know how that works, but you know what I mean. So and that energy, it honestly to this day, it still goes through my mind because I saw your energy and that energy inherently was given to me. Thank you very much. And I'm going to walk around with that same energy going, people still love movies. People still love movies. You know, actors are worried that people aren't going to love movies. That would put us out of a job. Right. So it's a big thing we're talking about here. And so what I want to know from you guys, we already went through that. Each and every one of you, favorite Snyder film.
Oh, yo, I'm gonna let Josh go first.
I'm gonna ask you this.
No. I'm gonna let Josh go first. Go ahead, Josh. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I'm biased. I mean, I shouted it out earlier. You know, the whole reason I'm on Twitter X is because I wanted to fight passionately for art that was uncompromised and authentic and not, you know, trying to be crushed into a mold that it didn't fit in. And by that, I'm talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyder Cut, because we did as fans see a compromised version that was released because it was trying, the studio wanted it to be something that it was not intended to be, right? And as a fan to pay money and see that, right, and know, at the time I didn't know, and you can, I've said this, like, I was championing that film, Justice League 2017. Yeah, go see it. Yeah. Right. But then when you started to find out the behind the scenes and what really happened, it made you as a fan feel robbed, right? Like, what? Wait, there's a 2 hour longer version of this movie that was cut down by studio mandate for profit because they wanted to get as many viewings as possible in a 24-hour span, right? Time period. So yeah, that's the whole reason why I joined. Well, I mean, I joined Twitter way before. It's actually today is my 15th anniversary from joining the cesspool that is Twitter X. So
Congratulations.
But
We got Reese back, right?
yeah,
he was
yeah.
playing with his toy again.
But yeah,
Hey,
Snyder Cut for me because we as fans had to fight for that uncompromised version.
It's a good answer. I like that.
right. Curly Ray says, Brett, so far my favorite Zack Snyder is Batman vs Superman Ultimate Edition, that 3-hour version. Right?
Yeah.
Yes. The Nightwing says Man of Steel. We got Retro saying 3-way tie between Watchmen 300 and ZSJL. And we also have Mama Bear saying happy anniversary, Josh, right? Leon, you next. What is your favorite Zack Snyder film, sir?
My favorite Zack Snyder film. See, I think it's cheating to say anything from the DCEU, right? I think, and I do this thing where like, because people are like, oh, you got to put them in order, and I'm like, bro, Man of Steel, BVS, and ZSJL are all S tier master classes of superhero filmmaking. Like that, you don't get much better than that. You just really don't. So I'm not even gonna use those because we all know those are like my favorite. We know this, but
Yeah.
I think that Dawn of the Dead, man, might be like, if I could easily say 300 as well, but Dawn of the Dead, yo, I love that. That's like the last indie thing that Zach's
Yeah,
done.
that's a good point.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And as much as I love a big old blockbuster, I will, like I said, Hackers is one of my all-time favorites. That grit and grain and grime of the era, and I'm one of those people. I think Sky, we talked about this a few times, where he's like 4K, bro. I struggle to go to 4K. I love old, dirty looking movies. I love the grit and grime of independent filmmaking. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I love
yes.
that in that non-gloss look. I love it. I like it to look like you had to dust the film off and hopefully it survived through time, sort of look. I love it. Like Casablanca is one of my all-time favorite. Bro, I love Casablanca. The ending of that
I
film
can't love
is
Casablanca in 4K, bro.
You can.
You know what?
You can.
You can, brother.
You
It's
actually can.
Casablanca, right? You can, brother. You
I
can.
can't want it in 4K.
No,
Come
Sky,
on,
it's a
man.
crime. No, I'm just kidding. But
Physical media, y'all.
Yes.
Dawn of the Dead might be my number one. And oh yes, you could say that again. Physical media, physical media, physical media.
Yeah, you're
right?
not the only one saying that too, by the way. Like
Yeah. You know,
our movies can just get snatched away from us like that.
so I have a storage unit full of films, just full of movies and physical. Like I But anyway, Dawn of the Dead is probably my all-time favorite Zack Snyder movie, outside of like, the ones that everybody capes for and it's bigger. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You can't get much more Zack Snyder than Dawn of the Dead, man. It's just something, that movie.
Now I'm gonna have to watch that tonight. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. 20 years.
Go with the director's cut. You always got to go director's cut with Zack. Always.
Right. Yo, all these answers have been great. I too, because I love all of Zach's movies almost equally, pretty much. But I do have to say it is ZSJL for this reason. That was one of the weirdest experiences watching a film I've ever had, right? Because the entire time that I'm watching it, I'm comparing it to this other version that I've seen, right? And it was so jarring because those movies are vastly different and super similar all at the same time, right? where it's the same story beats, kind of, right? Like Batman is going around putting the team together, right? All that, but it's a vastly different movie. And so watching it, I felt like I was robbed of having my first experience be untainted by that first film, right? So
yeah.
And it was only through the passion of this community that we were able to kind of get that movie out, right? But it has been, and this is why I wanted to highlight this film specifically, because ever since that film has been released, I've ran into so many people that are like general audience members that aren't super into the Zack Snyder release, the Snyder cut stuff, have no idea about any of that. But then they said that that movie saved their lives, right? And that certain things and certain themes in that film and how it resonated with them when they were at like a time where they were super low and, you know, was going through all these troubles and struggles, and how the cyborg character gave them some, you know, hope, and Superman, and just all these things that really, it, like, once these moments started happening, I realized how far that, you know, that we needed to go to actually get that out, because it was vastly important. That film literally saved, like, I'm running into people that, you know, I would have never thought would be telling me these things. You know, I have kept telling the story, like my friend's baby mama, like, randomly was like, yo, this movie saved my life. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't have no idea that you knew about the Snyder cut, right? So yeah, it's really been a labor of love getting that thing to fruition. It was also a very jarring watch, especially that first time, because there's no other thing to really compare that to, right? Where like you have this one version that's so vastly different, and it's like, you know, it was just very awkward. So yeah, I will say that ZSJL is my favorite, but I love all of Zach's movies, yo. I really do. And yo, if I could see every single one of them in an IMAX marathon, I would go watch them all.
We should do that.
Hands down. You know what I'm saying? Release the Snyder Punch, you know what I'm saying? Because we need Sucker Punch too, right? I love that film. I love Sucker Punch. People try to hate on it. I love that movie, yo. First thing I ever saw Oscar Isaac in.
Oh yeah,
I was literally thinking that. I was like, I think that might have been the first time I ever saw Oscar Isaac, and didn't know who the guy was. But I was like, damn, he's an asshole in this movie. He did a great job.
Right, but yo, Zach is GOAT level casting. So hey, look, we might just be seeing Brett, you know what I'm saying, blowing up. Yeah, hey.
Brett, question for you. Other than what's your favorite Zach movie, what movie of Zach's that he's done thus far, other than Rebel Moon, obviously, would you like to be in? Like, if you could reverse time and be like, I'm gonna plot myself in this movie, which one would you be in?
Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Why is that?
Truthfully, I would have loved to have played Zod.
Man, I don't know if the world will be ready for that though, man. Two good-looking guys on screen. We got Henry Cavill. We got you. I don't know.
Right.
I think the ladies would have been going crazy, like, damn, I don't know who to root for. You know.
No, I just that movie again. I kind of done. I kind of didn't mention that when we were talking about 300, but that movie, I remember exactly where I was when I watched it. I remember exactly what I was feeling. I remember how it moved. It again, a Superman movie was capable of moving me, and you know, in my 20s, and I was like, wow, Zach, you've figured out a way. And it was especially when, you know, there was the storm that was happening, and Dennis Quaid is like, no, don't save me, and I just fell apart. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, when he's like got the
and he's just no. And I just
Oh yeah, Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner. I said Dennis Quaid. Why did I say Dennis Quaid?
You made me
Thinking
think-
about
when you
Independence
said
Day,
that,
you know
I
what
was
I'm saying?
literally thinking, I was like,
Dennis
Independence Day.
Quaid?
But
Completely.
no,
But
But
yeah,
no.
when Kevin Costner, when he put his hand up, I feel like they earned that moment in that film, and that's yeah. So for me, it would be that.
Awesome.
Man,
Awesome.
that's dope, man. What's your next question, Brett?
Oh, I've got who is Dennis Quaid?
Yo, favorite Dennis Quaid performance ever is in Independence Day.
Yep.
Love him in that movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What is it? National Lampoon's. I mean,
Oh.
when growing up, what movie made an impact on you most?
Okay, once again, I'm about to pull rank. Josh, go ahead and answer the question first.
Well, it's funny that you asked that, Brett, because honestly, I've being raised like my parents' context. I come from a psychology background, so I think context is important. You know, I was raised by primarily my mother and my stepfather, who was great to me, right? But I always longed to be raised by my father, right? That's my father. But my stepdad was a very encouraging figure in my life. He was actually the reason why I love entertainment. He had a job in entertainment. He dressed up as Power Rangers and Barney and took us along to play the Power Rangers theme song on boom boxes and interact with children and their birthday parties and stuff. So he was very like kind of like childlike, right? Because he liked stuff I was into. And so watching films, he loved Robin Williams. So growing up, Mrs. Doubtfire actually was really a movie that struck me because, you know, as a kid growing up, having these
classic.
emotions where I like this guy, right? But he's not my father.
Right.
But, you know, he was also very influential in my life because he taught me more so than my own father just how to laugh, right? Through sadness and through heartbreak and things that when you can't control as a child how to cope with those emotions. And Mrs. Doubtfire as a film and a piece of art, like it's really that classic, you know, storytelling. It is a balance, in my opinion, of drama and comedy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's
yeah,
right. Like that's the two pillars. So that performance that Robin Williams gave me, you know, it still makes my heart cry, but it makes my heart smile so big by the end of it because
I love
it's okay that, you know, your parents might not work out. They still love you. And so
it's okay.
Yeah, Mrs. Doubtfire.
That was a good answer, man. I love that. I too remember. So I grew up that same way, and I too remember watching that film. And I think a lot of adults experienced that moment during that time period of watching Robin really not. All right, we knew that he could do multiple characters, but to take it to where he was able to was unlike anybody else. And obviously the story was so different out of the box, and I think perfect for Robin Williams. So yeah, I agree with you on that. It was a beautiful movie. Man, now I gotta watch all these movies tonight. All right.
Add it to the list.
Right. And what about you, Leon?
Do you guys mind if I use the restroom real quick? It's gonna be real
Oh,
quick.
go ahead, bro.
I'm gonna do the same thing.
All right, cool. And then I will answer once everybody get back. You know what I'm saying? Right. Look, we got some people in the audience saying Batman Returns, says Mama Bear. Right. We got Bishop saying The Color Purple. The Nightwing says episode 4. What's episode 4? I don't think I've seen that.
Your name has anything to do with that movie?
Oh, Star Wars.
A New Hope. I'm assuming. No.
Is it A New Hope? Nightwing? Is that what you're saying?
You know, it was known as Star Wars for one time, so that's what Sky was probably thinking. Right. That's it.
Right. said Killzone and Seven Samurai. Man, I gotta. You know what? I never finished that film. I gotta finish the Seven Samurai. It was so good.
I haven't seen it actually, so you might need to add that to a watch along list or something, Sky. Because
Yeah,
with Rebel Moon,
yeah, but I don't know because it's on a certain app. You know what I'm saying? It's on a
yeah,
certain,
yeah,
you know. Yeah, I don't know. I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
No worries.
Right. Curly Ray says, I know this is more, but Christopher Nolan and Zack Snyder's films definitely changed my life, was also a huge impact on my life and made me stronger. Shouts out. Shouts out.
I missed that. What did that say?
Oh, it says that Christopher Nolan and Zack Snyder's films definitely changed a Curly Ray's life and also made him stronger. Great. Right?
Yeah, the power of
Yeah.
movie making, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, that is definitely something that you can kind of glean from these things if you're able to engage with these works of art, right? Like as I was kind of saying before the stream started, I don't feel like I prefer to go into these films kind of demanding something from it. I just want to kind of take that journey that the film is trying to take me on, and then you know, kind of base my opinion off of that, right?
Yeah.
I think they're a lot like rides at theme parks. You know,
Yeah.
In the moment, you're like, it goes upside down. You know, you're not judging the roller coaster. You know, I think that you use 4 more bolts over there, don't you? Phil?
Right.
That's how I think. It's an experience, just like life. Every film is an experience, and I'm glad that we are blessed that we have these different venues and different platforms that we can see this. Like, think about this: 100 years ago, ish, we didn't have any of this.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. Not at all.
Go to
right?
the theater. That's it. Like you couldn't watch anything on your own. You couldn't go watch anything on a phone, on anything. You had to go experience it with people, right?
Absolutely. Yo, this is all true. This is all true. Right. We got Leon back. Did you want to answer now, Leon, about what films really influenced you and had an impact on you when you were growing up?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So growing up, a few movies did. I
Wait,
kind of answered it.
and while he's doing that, I'll be right back.
Hey.
All right. Now we've do you got to go too, Josh? We're gonna.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Just complete
That was good. All right.
complete
That
the
was
circle.
good.
But no, yeah, I kind of answered it a bit earlier, but just to expound on that, like Batman, 1989's Batman, it's unforgettable for me. I damn near remember where I was sitting exactly, like the aisle and everything, and just looking up at the screen and that giant bat logo through the intro, you know.
Real
What were you
quick,
gonna say, Brett?
how old were you at that time?
I was like, what was I, like 6? 6
So,
or 7?
so all of your imagination, your believability, it was all popping off. What did it feel like? Because I know what you're talking about, because that was one for me too, that I don't know about you, but there was some fear involved.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe for me,
like fear of the unknown, because there was criminals. You remember?
oh yeah. There was like this you know what's interesting, Brett? So as a child, I've always been drawn to serious like entertainment.
Okay.
So like fear, sure, but in a sense of like I love and embraced it. I love that dark, serious tone of anything really. And you know, if you're a Batman person, you kind of grew up on like Adam West's version, and whether you understood the riff of it all, you rolled with it. It's just Batman. Like, oh, it's Batman. 1989 changed the game, and it was just like, oh my god. And so there was like this feeling of I want to be that guy. I really want to be
Okay.
that guy, man, on that screen with that cowl on, with this cape, and take back the power that fear steals from me. You know,
I love
I,
that. Yeah.
you know what I mean? I want to be able to punch a guy in the face if he says something that I don't like. You know, this is just young thoughts, right? Like
Yeah.
obviously
They
we know
were.
that
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
bad. You shouldn't just punch somebody because they said that. But the young mind where you're like, you are having some sort of authority. And then as the film progresses, you're like, oh wow, he's actually trying to save the day. It's something bigger than him. It's not just punch the bad guy. It's almost save the world via saving the city. You get the girl in the end. Everybody thinks you're cool. It was all these like really surface level raw things that I took with me forever, and just kind of evolved from there. But that might be my favorite film going experiences of all time, was from when I was a child watching that. And then from there, um outside of the theater, just films in general. Well, I actually went to go see this next film in theaters, Terminator 2.
Oh, buddy.
Oh,
I wasn't supposed to see that,
yeah.
but I saw it.
Oh, buddy.
I'm gonna tell you. So I was kind of late to the original Terminator. Like I saw it, but I saw it in bits and pieces because I'm not supposed to watch it. It's rated R.
Right.
And I'm just like, whatever. And whatever I would do to sneak to go see it, I would see
Mhm.
Terminator, the original Terminator. And so when Terminator 2 was coming out, the way it was advertised was like this basically sci-fi blockbuster, bring your whole family kind of thing. I don't know if you guys remember the
Yeah, I do.
advertising.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was like, you remember, because we grew up during a time when these rated R films got turned into Saturday morning cartoons
Yep.
eventually, right? And they had toys and everything. Um,
Yeah.
that was incredible times. So when I saw Terminator 2, man, I I wanted to become a filmmaker when I saw that afterwards.
Mm.
I was like, damn, this is I wanna write, I wanna do this, I wanna do that. I didn't end up steering myself towards that, however, but it made me so much more of a film lover. I wanted to know everything they did to make that movie. I don't know why it did that to me, but it just did. So I remember being a kid, finding little VHSs and interviews and everything, and just absorbing
All the
Terminator 2.
everything
Yes.
you could get out of it.
Oh hell yes. You remember?
Can I,
Oh, go for it. Mhm.
no, I was just going to ask you what in Terminator 2. I remember that film pretty vividly. Was there a specific moment that was either really special or jolting to you?
Oh my God. Two things that stick out automatically. The scene where he walked out of the fire and he was just,
Mm.
you know, and it sticks out to me because I was like, how do they do that? And when you discover how and the why of it, it's incredible. The other scene was when the T-800 said, "I know now why you cry." I was like, oh, bruh,
Mm.
he got it. He discovered it. Like he had a respect and an appreciation for humanity that he understands why we cry. It's not just the liquid that comes out of our face. It's for good reason. So
There's
that
a
was
why
it was
behind it.
beautiful stuff. Huh?
There's a why behind it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I remember it was really kind of, that film was a little bit educational for me, because
Mm.
everything you said was very true, for me as well. When I saw it in theaters. But I remember leaving. I saw it with my mom, and I remember asking her. I was like, "Do we really have a bomb that can do what happened to the main character?" Do you remember that when she
Ooh.
had that moment where you see the fence? She's on the fence.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Okay, so can
Oh
I just say
God.
this real quick, Brett?
Yeah,
Going back
please.
to your fear question. That movie,
Wait,
That
wait,
movie
real
got you.
quick, because I was
my
gonna
God,
call
yes.
cap on him being scary in Batman '89, yo. You mean
Nah.
to tell me when Joker was like, "Wait till they get a load of me," you wasn't scared, bro? Don't
So
tell me that, Leon.
I'm gonna tell you how not scared I
Ooh.
was, right? When I saw that
That's cap.
scene, I was
That's
like,
cap.
"Oh, damn, that's cool." I'm telling
Oh
you,
my,
bro, I
bro,
love.
I was
But
scared, bro.
what scared the shit out of me was when that woman was gripping that fence
Yeah,
and
fact.
life itself was eviscerated. I will never forget that feeling. I was like, "Holy shit, man! that scared the absolute shit out of me as a kid.
Yeah.
But continue.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, that's exact same thing. Is I remember I was so young that I remember I turned to my mom and I asked her, "Do we really have bombs that can do that?" And she said, "Yes."
Yeah.
She didn't even sugarcoat it. She wasn't like, "Well, baby." She's
No,
like, yeah, what you thought?
but it was it was that moment that I did realize that we had devices that could kill us all. Like the fact that we actually had that. And we do, like,
Right.
at that age. Like now I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. But at that age, it was wild to understand that we literally take every second for granted because it could all be over. Like, you know? So for me, that was,
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, one more movie that I'll name that influenced me as a kid was RoboCop.
Oh my bro, come on. Don't do that.
Listen.
I was about to,
RoboCop. Oh, you was about to do that too? My fault, bro.
yes, bro.
Those are the three most influential movies for me as a child.
Come on, man.
Batman '89, Terminator 2, and RoboCop. Like, bro,
Go ahead and delve into it, bro. Go ahead.
I'd do a disservice to myself and this entire stream if I suppress this.
Go
RoboCop
ahead. Get it on out.
has got to be the craziest effing movie I've ever seen in my life from a standpoint of a child, because this should be Saturday morning cartoon level. It's a damn cop in a robot suit. Like, you know, he's a robot cop. Like, he's a robot and he's a cop. That shit messed me up in a good way, because it let me know, like, obviously in hindsight, but at the time I just, there was no way to differentiate between whether this should be this way or shouldn't. And I love the artistry of that, right? Just like we have this thing that should be toys banging against themselves, and instead it's this crazy visceral storytelling of this guy who was just a good cop who got gunned down completely before my young eyes, and then violently, viciously, and then he's reborn as this force for justice. But even then, he can't trust the thing that saved him, because he's now a part of this machine of corporate crap that wants him to do this, but he still is maintaining his humanity, and then he has to fight the corporation to save. It was nuts. I was like, what is happening as a kid? And so ever since
buy
then,
that for $1.
Facts, you know? So ever since then, I was just like, wow, man, this is what art does. It takes something that shouldn't be this and it makes it that. And it takes you on a journey and pulls you left, right, up, down circles, and it spits you out on the other side of it. When, what do you think? RoboCop was that for me as a child. And to this day, I'm thankful for that experience, man. Like,
I love that.
Ain't nothing like RoboCop, yo, as a child.
Man,
for
good
real.
answer. I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Leon. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to. And something else too. I was just thinking. I think that because I'm a little bit younger than you too, so maybe that's why I was so terrified by that Joker line, yo. You don't understand. Like,
you watched it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was 2 when it came out, and I'm pretty sure that I watched it like I had to have seen it pretty much soon after that, like when I was a little kid.
Everybody was watching it, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, when he's like that, wait till they get a load. You know, I was shook. Like, that line still scares me to this day. You know what I'm saying? I get a chill down my spine.
Yeah, when he
right?
Electrocutes dude.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Yo, I didn't even mind that, but it was that Joker line that just it was unsettling, right? But since he already started with RoboCop, I'll just go ahead and add to that and say, yeah, that was definitely one of mine as well. The violence in that movie, I think, you know, it kind of like, it was super violent, but it added to the story. And I think it really helped you connect with Alex Murphy more, because it's like, yo, look at what this, I mean, he was an innocent cop, right? And they pretty much was torturing this guy, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it was just a very crazy thing to be watching as a child. And I've learned since then, you know, through many hours of therapy that I'm very interested in and passionate about justice, right? So that was definitely one of those films that I think really kind of spawned that passion, I would definitely say. RoboCop was one. Another one that was a huge influence on me was Point Break, right? That was a man.
What,
Oh,
bro? Good shit. I love that
right?
movie.
I had
What?
I am an FBI agent, right?
That was way
Nah,
better than anybody thought it was going to be.
right?
When it dropped, this is actually good, guys.
Yeah, right. But yeah, just all the adventure in that film, and you know, them being surfers and parachuting and going skydiving and all that. I used to really run around the house with a backpack and a sheet, and I would try to jump off of stuff and see if I could parachute, right? I mean, I was really going through it, right? That was a huge film, and I think that really added to my sense of adventure. That film is why I always wanted to go skydiving, and probably one of the reasons why I ended up joining the military also. Yeah,
Wow.
that's probably where all that sense of adventure came from. And third, this is more of like a personal favorite, obviously, but Above the Rim, yo, that is a film that I saw 5 times in theaters. Um, it's a movie. Obviously, it had Tupac in it. It has one of the greatest Tupac performances ever, with him playing Birdie, and just the whole cast with Bernie Mac and Marlon Wayans and Dwayne Martin and Leon. Not this Leon, but the other, the other Leon, right? But no, yeah, it was just a fantastic film. I think that it really spoke to me because I kind of really the character of Kyle Watson kind of really resonated with me. Him being a basketball player that grew up in the inner city and was in all this other stuff, but kind of wanted better for himself and all that, right? And that was me growing up, right? So I really yeah, I kept asking my dad, like, yo, take me to the movies to go see that again, right? And yeah, and that's also where my love of film came from, was going to the movies with my dad when I was young. So Above the Rim, to this day, that is still the movie that I've seen the most times, because I've tied it with BVS, but I haven't broken it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really saw that film 5 times as a child. I was like, no, you got to go take me back to go see that right now. You know, great movie. And if anybody hasn't seen that, then I would suggest you guys check that out as well.
I love basketball films. I can't believe I haven't seen that. So I'm gonna
Oh
watch.
man,
Yeah, I'm gonna
yo,
watch.
wait a minute. What, me and the homie talk about this all the time. What's the best basketball movie to you?
So yeah,
I
they're
think it's
all
Above the
good.
Rim. Oh wait, he said Hoosiers, or right?
Yeah, I really like Hoosiers. You know, I gotta say though, I'm a kid, man. The beginning of Space Jam.
Hey!
I mean, I have walked into rooms where that movie is on, and if it's at the beginning of that film, I will just stop and I will just watch and then the song comes on, you know, as the kid shooting the free throw. And for me personally, like I grew up a huge Jordan fan. I mean, I thought he was just that was the only human being that my mom would let me stay up late and watch, was Michael Jordan. You know, in 1998 when he's in the finals, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm able to watch that. So when Space Jam came out, he was my, you know, he was there. I didn't, you know, he was my Black Jesus, man. He was everything.
Right? I feel it.
Yeah, so Space Jam, just I mean, the whole movie was really good, but specifically that beginning, they created a moment, and to me, it represented what it must have felt like for little MJ trying to get good at something, which for me, I can relate to that. So we all can relate to that. You know what I mean? Just that anybody can do it. If you really dream it, you really want it, and I believed that. So, yeah. But I love that.
Oh, yo, this is dope, man. Look, we got Leon in the chat. And Brett to go
Hey, for real, bro. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, it all comes around
Hey.
to Zack Snyder too.
Sixth Man.
Hey, the sixth man.
That's
Yo,
also good. I
look,
remember that. Yeah.
yeah, man. Look, we got to do a basketball movie stream one of these days. You know what I'm saying? Sit there and talk about our favorite basketball films. But yes, you got to see
I'm gonna watch that.
Above the Rim, Brett. In my belief, that's the best basketball movie ever.
What's the
In my belief,
Ray Allen one?
He Got Game.
He Got Game. Okay.
Ooh, that might be mine, bro.
Yeah,
That was really good too.
Yeah,
I think that's my second favorite.
that's what's up. Yeah.
All right, yo. I want you guys to put your last questions and comments down in the bottom. We're gonna start wrapping up in about the next 10 to 15 minutes. Brett, did you have any other questions that you wanted to add?
Think that was it. I mean, I was really like before we started doing this, I really just wanted to kind of know more about, the fans. I find that really we team LeBron. I know.
Yeah, we team LeBron over here.
Yeah,
Thank you for bringing some sense back to the chat,
that's
Christopher Lee.
unfortunate. That's unfortunate, but we all can't be perfect, right? We're not looking for perfection today, right? That's what.
Hey, I did. I mean,
Hey, have you seen this, Brett?
Okay, all right, man. Now, all right. So the first one.
Yes.
Yeah. It's only originals around here, Brett.
First one. I thought their connection in that film.
Right.
I haven't seen it replicated since. Have you guys? Have you seen anything like those two?
And you know what's funny? Whenever those two were in a movie together, it was always like that, man.
Money Train.
Yes, Money Train, bro.
Right? Oh man, yeah. So y'all know what's up. Y'all know.
Yeah.
Shouts out to the homie Austin. He said Space Jam is the whole reason why I would stay up late shooting free throws in my driveway. When my parents would tell me to stop, I would be like, MJ's dad would rebound for him. This is what I get.
Yo,
this is what I get.
The parents are catching strays. That's
funny. Right? He said, yo.
That's funny, yo. Shout out to Austin.
Right? Nah.
But no, I really, guys, I just really wanted to know more about you. I mean, you guys are interviewing me, and I get interviewed, and I was just, ever since we were into each other when we watched the movie, it was just my mind was just like, who are these guys? I'm seeing this movie once in the theaters. These guys, this is like their 47th time. I'm like, who you guys tick? You know what I mean? Because I know what makes them tick. But
we saw it again after we saw you too, Brett. You know what I'm saying? We saw it again after.
Watch it again. No, I'm kidding. But like I said, it's no joke. You guys have been on my mind because I was just like, who are these type of individuals? If I'm this obsessed with film and acting, who are these guys? So that's why I wanted to know what were those movies that pushed you or made you, everybody has a thing. And so that's just what I wanted to know. Really just to prove that we can all be affected by a good story.
Absolutely.
I had a question for you, Brett.
Yo.
That only, I guess, you can answer for us because I know we're about to wrap up. But can you talk about what your interactions were like on set during Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire, when you were working with Mr. Zack Snyder? Can you talk about?
You just want me to do what I did last time.
Hey, go ahead.
Go ahead. All right. So
hey, I was gonna leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? But Giles is like, nah, I want to do it again.
So working with Zach was absolutely wonderful. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there was definitely butterflies and nerves in there, but there was also, luckily, there was just an extreme amount of curiosity. I think I'm a lot like Josh in the fact that it's just like, yeah, this is really neat. I know I'm going to watch now. And so I did get caught like watching him, but my personal experience with him was it felt like we were just in this like painting together. Does that make sense? Like, luckily, when the moment is there, we're not there. All the butterflies and all the nerves are gone. But the way it worked was they set us up, and then they do a rehearsal, and then that came out, and it was like this. Okay, you. Yeah, you go. Yes, you. Come over here. Yes, you. Come on. Okay, yeah, right here, and then we'll. Wait. Just bring him a little bit further this way. Okay, good. Okay, guys. All right. Well, no, wait. No, it's fine.
That's funny. No, it's fine.
It truthfully feels like you were just inside of his brain, and you're just kind of like, okay, yeah, we're going to do that now. We're going to do that now, because it is all coming. It felt like it was all coming in at once. So it is such a creative process to be around, and for me, I had to be on all of my cylinders. Had to be going to interpret it, and to go, okay, this is what he wants. So it was really fun. The entire time felt like a ride. Like, really, like I wanted to go back and play the ride again when I left.
Maybe
that was the worst part, was leaving set. That specific set was really hard to leave.
I bet it was.
That's super
awesome.
dope.
So 2 things real quick.
Mhm.
One, I want to say thank you for being so complimentary to us when we met, and since then,
Oh no,
you've been nothing but a gentleman. Your wife was great; she's incredible. And yeah, the next time that I'm in LA, because Skywalker, that's his home. Salute the sky. So I would love to hang out with you guys again, get some drinks, go to dinner, live it up. It would be awesome. Especially if we get to go to this premiere for part 2, that would be awesome. The second thing I would like to say is, I would like to ask is, did you get any, memorabilia or something, a keepsake from, filming? I know some people like to do that sometimes. They like to sneak a little something off set. You know what I mean?
I cannot.
Was it a hat?
I cannot,
Was it a hat? Was it a hat that was lost at LAX?
Yeah, right. No, I'm trying to think of any items. No, unfortunately, I did want to like steal one of the buttons off of the control panels.
Yeah.
But all of my stuff had to be immediately put back, and then they look at it every night, and so I couldn't steal. I wanted to steal stuff. There's a lot of stuff to steal. There
It's
was
the thought that counts.
and toys everywhere, and but no. Usually though, for me, like as an actor, what's interesting is I'll divulge this, is I usually do the exact opposite. I like to bring something of mine inside of somewhere.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of what's that?
Did you do that this time?
Yeah, I did.
Awesome.
Hey.
Do you want to share, or is that just something you keep sacred to yourself?
Usually, so I've got Saint Cecilia, who's the saint of music, and then I have an elephant. And usually I will take this off, and it'll go in my pocket. All of these items were given to me. So the fact, like the chain itself, all of it were from other human beings, and so those human beings care about me as I care about them, and so I try to keep that like in my pocket, and so it's mine, like that's
that's beautiful.
So that's so I like to bring that into places, and then it might steal some of that energy from that set, and it's always on me. This guy's traveled so many times if I thought I lost it, but it goes everywhere with me. So and both of these items, this was my wife, and then my wife gave me the elephant as well. So, and then her and I guess the chain was together, but it was specifically for these items. So, and then anyway, but yeah, so it's kind of the opposite. But I did have an opportunity to glance at a lot of the design for the film. I got to see some of it in person, so that was really special, and to see the work.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I can't say anything about it, but
Yeah.
I could see the work that had been going on for months. You know what I mean? And I could see the human work, and I saw the evidence of it. It just made me just kind of go, man, these people are working.
Dope. That's super dope. A Curly Ray says, "Hey Brett, do you travel to any convention / Comic-Con?"
So I used to for a different project that I did. So I don't know what's going to happen with this one. But when I did the Vampire Diaries parody, I got to go and travel for that. That was really so a long time ago when Vampire Diaries was out. I worked with the Hillywood Show, and they hired me to play Paul for the parody of the show. And so once I did that, it did pretty well on YouTube. And so I got to go and be a fake Paul. But that was a lot of fun. It was such a great experience. And I got to, at that point in time, I was younger in my life, and I was able to meet a lot of actors who had been doing it. And so I got to see, how the inner workings were a little bit more.
Shout out to you, because you were giving Edward Cullen vibes in that parody.
That was a weird time. There's a lot of vampire work going on.
Whole lot of vamping going on. You know what I'm saying? We got Bishop saying, "Brett, thank you for being a great person and great actor. You're one of us now."
Oh, right? Thank you. Thank you. That's really sweet of you guys.
Right.
We're all doing this together.
We're all filming.
Yeah. Happy early birthday, GDI. I know your birthday is tomorrow, right? Yeah. Happy early birthday, Geek Defense Initiative, right?
I think he also had a question about TV shows. Sorry to interrupt you, Sky.
Oh, there we go. By the way, Brett, what's your favorite TV show?
Loaded question.
Can I have 1 second?
Right.
I don't think I have a favorite TV show, but I'm like, oh God, what is this question? I think you have to go with the one that you keep wanting to watch again, right? Not necessarily the one that ends the way you want it to, but for me, I was absurdly obsessed with House.
That was a good show, for real.
Dope show.
I think his performance was just so. At that point in time, it was almost anything. It was better than almost anything that I was seeing in the movies. Like, he was killing it every time. So House was really good for me. Recently, I was really moved by Dope Sick.
Oh, Michael
I
Keaton.
don't know if anybody saw that. That was Michael Keaton. That one, it had me. I think I watched that in like a day, right over there, because I was just like, no, I'm staying here, and I have to live inside of this, and I want all of it. All right, real fast, your guys' favorite TV show, because now I'm curious.
Somebody said Full House, and I was like, I loved Full House growing up. So
Full House, I mean, yeah,
everywhere.
Yeah, I watched it every day when I came home.
And I watched Fuller House because it was on Netflix. So nostalgia got me.
Wait, that's such a loaded question. Yeah, like animated or like what? Like, because I think of animation when I think about my favorite TV shows. And then, because you got Breaking Bad.
Oh, Breaking Bad.
Right. I love The Lost for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It was like 2 seasons, and then I don't know what happened to that. But no, it's a few. Yeah, I say if I had to answer, probably Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
probably Breaking Bad for live action. I really loved the first few seasons of The Walking Dead too. I was really super into that.
That was really good.
Yeah. I'd have to say one of those. What about you, Josh?
Probably, like, honestly, like, I'm not trying to just bite off of you, but Breaking Bad was probably something that changed me as a person, just because I've had kind of in my field working with people with disabilities and also substance abuse issues. So that kind of like pushed me into that field, just my experience, and then watching a show accurately portray people that I had kind of helped, you know, and things that I learned about while being in school and helping people in certain arenas. So yeah, Breaking Bad is amazing. If you haven't watched it, watch it.
And you, Leon.
Shoot, I got a few, like X-Files for sure. Is like,
You know, when you said what's my favorite, that one came in my head too, and I had to go put
Yeah.
that and House. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So X-Files, Martin, Jamie Foxx show, modern era Supernatural, Smallville, hell, The Sandman on Netflix.
Oh, The Sandman.
I still watch that show. It's so beautiful. It just does something to me. Fun fact, my mother actually wrote into Martin, because my mother's a good writer. She actually has a book published. She wrote into Martin ideas on how to make the show better, right? And
Wow.
just gave ideas for free for some weird reason. And they gave her this big old box with all this memorabilia and a plaque and a note that said, "Thank you for your ideas and your thoughts and your passion, et cetera, et cetera. This is a thank you, blah, 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 blah." And hand to God, they changed the direction of the show afterwards. So I'm not saying my mom did that, but I'm just saying she said that, they gave her that, and then they changed the damn show according to what she said. So yeah, I'm not kidding. Like, hand to God, I'll never forget that. I was like, "Yo, mom, you changed Martin." And she was like,
That's
and they
wild. That's crazy.
and I'll talk about it with her to this day, and she'll laugh like, "I should have did something with a contract or something." I'm like, "Hey, it happens all the time in Hollywood." So, you know, them's are the breaks. But yeah, those are like my favorite. And then like cartoon wise, Cowboy Bebop, Dragon Ball Z.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, definitely Cowboy Bebop. My God,
Yeah.
I can go on all day about those.
Batman animated series, yo.
Yeah.
1000% Batman animated series
Batman.
is like number one above all.
Although X-Men is back, and that did make me a Marvel fan too. So
Yeah,
shout out
yeah.
to X-Men.
Can't go wrong with that.
Hey, don't say you didn't know that tune, right? Curly Ray says, "Hey Brett, if you get to travel again, there's a chance we might meet. Just spot the person cosplayed as Jimmy." He said, "If you see anybody cosplayed as Jimmy, right?" DDI says, "Also, if you play video games, what's your favorite, Brett? Are you much of a gamer?"
Yeah, so I do two things to relieve my stress. One of them is working out, and the other one is playing video games. I'm a first person computer. I build computers. I play video games. I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
I have a lot of favorite video
You're
games.
among friends here, Brett.
I play Counter-Strike way too much. Too much. It's first-person shooter. It's how I get my aggression out. Instead of going beating people up on the streets, I just
Yo, I didn't know that Brett's a sweaty man. That's a sweaty game, bro. Like
don't tell too many people, right?
bruh.
I'm also really competitive.
Anybody that play Counter-Strike, bro, hey, they are competitive because that's where the competition is. 100%.
I love the game. It's more of an obsession.
All right. And last but certainly not least, before we go around this panel, Stop Cali Guy says, Brett, sell Snyderverse to Netflix, yay or nay?
No comment.
Hey, that's super dope. Yo, Josh, we about to start closing this thing on out, bro. What do you have for Brett and for the entire community out there as we kind of wrap this stream up, bro? On the precipice of Rebel Moon being released, man.
Yeah, no, I thank you, Brett, for coming and talking with us as fellow fans. I started networking with you through, social media, and I saw you were in the film. Of course, I saw that you linked up with these two guys, and it's just a pleasure to have you on here to share, just you as a fan, just talking to us and bouncing back questions because we are just, film fans. And once again, just to bring it full circle, once again, thank you for what you sacrificed in your personal life. We've gone through a historic time where actors have literally taken a stance against the machine that is Hollywood, and you fought and dug yourself in as part of this community to keep, art integrity. And that's something that we, obviously as Snyder fans, like I talked about earlier with the Snyder Cut, that's something that's very important to us. But everything that's mentioned, like Leon's mentioned and Sky's mentioned and you've mentioned, those films, were part of that content and that art made us who we are, right? And that's kind of why we're here. So I wanted to thank you for doing that, because I think this movie, I really wanted to show these two items off that Leon kind of talked about, because this is a relic from the Imperial world, right? This is a technology, right? Something that is a artificial intelligence, so to speak, right? This is something of the old world. If you look at it, it's made and it's kind of, there's actual, like, I don't know if these are antler ears or something, but there's ancient carvings, and I think Zach is kind of putting some subtext into this movie. And it kind of affects me personally, Brett, that we, my Facebook got disabled due to artificial intelligence recently.
Yeah, it's real. It's real. Yeah.
And if you're looking at story arcs of Cora and Jimmy, I've kind of talked about this, how they're very similar, their story arcs, because they're both coming from the mother world, right? And they are kind of finding ways to deprogram from that,
yeah, that's
right. So I don't know if you've kind of caught any of that in Rebel Moon in your watches that you've seen, but for me, I think it's just really important that you as a working actor took a stand, with others, because it's not easy being an actor, from what I understand, right? And you guys did a lot to change history for us and for the better. So can you kind of speak about that?
So being an actor is not an easy job, but every actor knows that. So it's not, that's not what's important here, but I do appreciate you acknowledging that. However, yes, I feel that we took a stand. Obviously, AI is an issue, but guys, we're potentially on the brink of losing art. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but if we continue to go down this path and let time go by, it will be gone. I mean, think about all the other types of art form that we used to appreciate in the past that have now just, we don't, like, again, how many of us do actually go into galleries? Yeah, they're there.
Right.
But how often are you like, yo, homie, you want to go to the Modern Art Museum? I mean, how often are we doing that?
Yeah.
We should be doing it once a week, because we can learn from that. But we don't, and we let it die down, and other art forms die down. And I personally do not want to see this art form die down, or at least I don't want to see the way that we tell stories, the way that we move people, the reason behind it, the why behind it. We have to have that locked in, and it's really important to me, and hopefully to other people. So I appreciate the fact that you see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We appreciate Brett being here as well, and for that stance that he and the rest of the actors took. You know what I'm saying? Y'all already know what's up. Leon said, what does Brett know about Metal Gear Solid, though?
Whoa. What was that? Oh.
What was that?
Hey, he knows what's up.
Yo, I'll play Solid Snake. Let's do that. Get a little dark hair going. We got this.
Yeah. Oh.
Right? Oh, man.
What do I know about Metal Gear Solid? Come on, guys.
One of us.
Brett, okay. Let me ask you a question. Okay.
Go ahead.
If somebody was trying to be like, yo, Brett, I know all about Metal Gear Solid, but I just watched the cutscenes, right? Is that enough for you, just watching the cutscenes for Metal Gear Solid? Or do you feel like you actually got to play through that, right? Like, you got to play through Metal Gear Solid, right?
Right. And that, what the heck? Man, my memory is horrible today. I just purchased a video game, and exactly, I haven't played it yet because I was afraid of doing that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I put
Right.
it in and everything, and then I just thought to myself, my schedule is too busy right now. I cannot play this appropriately. So now it's there for it's Starfield. It's for 3 weeks, and I haven't gotten into it because it's Starfield.
Great
I
game,
could
by the way,
blast
too.
through that game, but I don't want to blast through it. I want to take my time and give it my full everything. So that's why I'm just like, I bought it, now it's just there.
Thank you.
But I think, does that
Thank
answer your question?
Yes, it absolutely does. I
For
gotta clear
sure.
that up. Leon,
Hallelujah, low, baby.
Leon, what you got for Brett as we wrap up, and also for the rest of the community as we're on the precipice of Rebel Moon Part 2 being released, sir?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you again for being here and wanting us to have a conversation with you. It didn't really feel like a interview of sorts. It felt like a bunch of guys getting together and just, you know, having fun and just geeking out and being passionate about the art that we love. And I'm glad that you came with the message of protecting art and
Well, I
seeing.
didn't want this to be, hey, let's do this thing where we talk to this guy because he was in a movie.
Yeah, yeah. Which would, which would have been fine, but
Which would have been dope.
I like that you came with that message of let's protect art. And I think like I think we all who love art and who want to see humanity progress, continue to progress and reach higher heights, we're all kind of afraid of the looming threat of the things that we love being taken from us, right? From something that's pretty powerful and pretty good at imitation.
And that's why if we talk about it now, at least one more person will talk about it. And then that person will talk about it. And then we'll go see more movies. They'll go see more movies. More people will go see more movies. It's up to us to do this. Like, there's no
Absolutely.
magical people that are going to keep movies going or keep them good. There's no savior. There's no movie magic man in the mountains that we're going to keep all these great moments that we're having fed spoon to us as we were growing up. We were so lucky for our childhood. We were so lucky.
Amen.
And so it's when you realize, holy bananas, I'm in my 30s. This is up to us.
Yep.
And it's not only up to the movie makers, not only up to the actors, not only up to all the crew, cast, PA. It's also up to the fans to go and put their butt in the theater.
Amen to that. No,
It's just that
you're
simple.
absolutely right.
You know,
Like
it's just that simple.
it is that simple.
Simple.
Yeah.
I think we're wanting to make it more complicated. I don't know why, but I care about how many children are being born right now as we speak. How many?
Billions.
Right.
They're all going to be young, and they're all going to go, and hopefully they have a movie theater because hopefully they can be brought up. You know what I mean? And hopefully their TV shows, their movies are anything like the way we had. So they can be moved, they can be affected, they can grow from that. Because most of them, a lot of people now don't have parents that are going to be in the house all the time because they're going to be working so hard to raise the child. Yeah. So it's up to the industry to tell stories.
Absolutely. And I think I have optimism and hope for the future because
I do too, because we're sitting here.
Absolutely. That and the feeling that we have, thankfully, is not a unique feeling because we can look across, international lines and see children that are using scraps to create short films, right? That are in their own way, right? Like they're doing what AI wants to do, but they're doing it in such a beautiful way where they're imitating like our films, right? Our great American films.
Right.
And they're doing it in a way that is so cool, so beautiful to watch. And it honestly makes me choke up a bit even now to see that. And so I think that this not unique feeling that we have, thankfully, that we share globally, it's a fire that's never going to die. And it's that feeling that cannot separate and won't separate from art. And we'll know art from imitation. And with that, I think that what we're doing now, it'll continue to resonate. But like you said, Brett, it has to be that passion in the act of it, not just the talking, the act.
Yeah, we got to do. We got to
do the do, baby. So
yeah,
I
and
thank you again for being here.
No, thank you guys, and it's very fortunate again that we even have this platform that we all can connect like this. You know, we're taking everything for granted.
Yeah.
For sure. Man, I love this stream is awesome. This for real. That I love it. I love that it turned it's this. It's cinephiles. It's lovers of art.
Yeah, we're real
And
people. It
real
exists.
people. We're not a bunch of snobs being hoity-toity. No, we're real people. We love Casablanca just as much as we love RoboCop. We love Zack Snyder's Justice League just as much as we love the Titanic. Like it's art.
To me, it's all art. I mean, I like I said, I wish I could swim in more of Zack Snyder's stuff. I just have to look at other art all the time. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's part of what I have to do. Like I probably study other people's art than I study my own art, just because you're always soaking up everybody else's, even some weird stuff.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely right. No, like I love Zach. You know, that's my favorite director. Right. I also love Nolan. I love Denny. I love Alex Garland. You know what I'm saying? Like I you know, there are
Sergio
people,
Leone.
right? Yeah, you're right.
They're all just creative souls. I mean, you know,
absolutely.
I hope I get to work with all of them. Like it's
Scorsese. Don't even get me started on Scorsese, right? You know,
and each and every one of them has that same love that Leon was talking about. Yep. That's why they do it.
Spike Lee. 100%. I love Spike Lee movies. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, we can go on and on.
We go all night, yeah.
Right. Brett, I know that was a great monologue, but was there anything else that you just kind of wanted to wrap up with as we kind of close this thing out that you want to leave with the community?
I want my hat back.
Yep.
No, I just, I'll wrap it up with real simple. You guys didn't have to stop me on my way to the Egyptian theater. Josh, you didn't have to set all of this up and speak to multiple people. Sky, you didn't have to be here today because you were feeling like trash. But despite all of that, you guys are all here with me right now. And I want to just say that I appreciate this moment. I appreciate the effort. I appreciate you taking the time 45 minutes beforehand to teach me how to use all this. I told you I'm ignorant to it all. And so I just wanted to say thank you. That's what I want to leave with. And I'm not gonna push any movie or anything. I'm just gonna say thank you guys for giving me the opportunity.
Hey, thank you for being here, man. This was our pleasure to be able to have this conversation with you. I knew it was gonna go awesome, and that's why I wanted to make sure that I was able to be here for this talk because it was very much needed, and I think that these types of conversations are what push thought forward and push more conversations, and that is what at the end of the day we need to keep these things alive. So much love to all of you guys. Shout out to the panel, right? They saying, Brett, you got any socials?
Yeah, I mainly do Instagram. Yeah. Brett.Culbert.
Yep, and there is a link to his Instagram in the description as well as his Twitter. As well as one for Josh and for Leon as well, right? We are just happy to bring you guys these conversations, and please make sure that you guys check out Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire on Netflix right now, and also that you guys are locked in April 19th for Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scar Giver, right? Yeah.
Red Bull.
We all know that Brett is Team Imperium. You know, I'm Team Imperium too, right?
There will be some pew pew. That's all I got.
Right. Noble was my favorite character from the first one. My favorite character going into the second one. You know what I'm saying? So I can't wait.
Ed was a fun dude to talk to as well. He was awesome. He was he was gushing about what he wants to do next.
Of course. We had a funny interaction and real fast. We didn't know who each other was yet. So we're like on set and I'm coming out of my trailer and he's got his super walk on and I'm like just going to get some food. So he's still in, character and his walk.
Yeah.
I'm like, And he just gave me the funniest look, like, don't look at me. And I was like, I think he's the lead.
Yeah, he was locked in. He was gushing about. He was like, man, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be boys dropping everywhere. I was like, I can't wait.
My body count is crazy, fam. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I was like,
people left and right.
Yeah.
Nah, Ed was such a great guy to meet, and I'm glad that we were able to have that interaction at the Egyptian Theater, right? Another thing, man, look,
Absolutely.
that whole weekend was just so special. And it shouts out to everybody that put that together. And, you know, hopefully I can get to this part 2 screening. We don't know yet, you know?
Absolutely.
Fingers crossed.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Right. But yes, we will catch you guys next time from the rest of the panel and from myself. We about to get on out of here. Y'all have a great evening. Peace.
Bang.
Bye, guys.